Hi, this is John Molinaro, senior soccer reporter for Sportsnet.ca here at BMO Field, where on Wednesday night Toronto FC earned a 4-2 win over the Montreal Impact in the first leg of the Amway Canadian Championship semi-finals. Strong Canadian content in Toronto FC's win, as Jordan Hamilton and Jonathan Osorio both scored 2 goals, and Canadians Mo Babule and Ashton Morgan also had a hand in setting up both goals. Jay Chapman and Malik Johnson also came in as late subs, so at one point TFC had 6 Canadians on the pitch. So from a Canadian perspective, very good to see so many Canadian players involved. Interesting in that, due to the international absences and injuries, TFC had to field a very makeshift starting lineup, while Montreal, missing some regulars, but had Ontivero and Piatti and Didier Drogba, their 3 designated players, and had a much stronger side. And yet it was Toronto who bossed the game for 85 minutes. And Drogba looked very uninterested, and Piatti didn't do much, so it was Toronto who was very much in control. And they led 4-0 at one point as late as the 85th minute. And at that point, you had to think that was it. Montreal was dead and buried and the series was over. There's no way that the Impact could overturn that deficit next week at Stade Saputo. But then Michael Salazar, the late substitute for Montreal, scored in the 86th minute, and Drogba scored on a gorgeous free kick deep into injury time to make it 4-2. So completely different ball game. Yes, a big win for Toronto FC, but they kind of let this slip away a little bit, I thought. As I said, Montreal was dead and buried at 4-0. You can't imagine that the Impact were going to come back and win 5-0 at Stade Saputo next week. With those 2 late goals, now all they need to do is win 2-0. I'm not sure that's totally beyond the realm of possibility for them, seeing how they conjured 2 goals out of absolutely nothing tonight in a game that, quite honestly, they didn't really deserve to get that much out of. So while Toronto will certainly be pleased with the result, I think deep down they're going to feel a little bit disappointed that they didn't close it out, that they didn't kill this one off, because it was there for them. They had it. They had their neck. They had their hands around Montreal's neck, and they let them get up off the canvas. And now the Impact certainly have a chance next week. Toronto, no doubt, holds the advantage. They can play to a tie, and they can even lose 1-0. But I think to discount Montreal to think that they might not be able to win 2-0 next week at Stade Saputo, I think that's a dangerous game to play. We'll see if Toronto's going to end up regretting conceding those 2 late goals. From BMO Field here in Toronto, I'm John Molinaro for Sportsnet.ca.